This is where the CFPB came in with guns drawn, all right? And they came in with a big bang to a company called Borders and Borders, and they're out of Kentucky. Now, you're not familiar with how closing probably happens back east, but in most cases, law firms close real estate transactions back east. So this company, Borders and Borders, is a law firm, and they specialize in closing real estate transactions. But they have an affiliate relationship with 9 title companies. Again, splitting fees, all right? Could be called kickbacks, but no, they did it with this MSA, and they had the MSA in place. So CFPB came in and says, you guys are illegal. You can't do this way. And they said, no, CFPB, we followed your laws right down to the letter. We're exactly right on. CFPB says, well, you have to pay all these millions of dollars. I said, no, we're not going to. CFPB says we're going to sue you. Now, is that a bright idea for somebody to say they're going to sue a law firm? That's such a good idea.
If it's good law
Borders and Borders said, come on, we'll go to the mat with you. Absolutely. This happened in June last year. Hasn't gone to trial yet, but they're going to yank the CFPB around and make them prove that they didn't do things right. But yet they're saying, right down the line, we did it perfect. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens if they're going to back down, because CFPB's been king up until now. This is the first time anybody's gone after them. It's going to be really interesting to see what. So we might check the internet. I looked at it about 10 days, 2 weeks ago, and there's nothing new on it. But this is going to be an interesting case. Okay, Realty South, which is a Berkshire Hathaway affiliate, they had an affiliated relationship with a title company, and they referred all business exclusively to this title company. So they had this MSA in place. But look at this. This is what the CFPB said. It did not properly highlight the consumer's rights, and the required language was buried in a section of the text that made it kind of not visible. In other words, they had the right form, and they probably even had the right language, but they didn't like where it appeared. So they came in and they fined him. They got away easy. They only had to pay $500,000 because it was there. They needed to have a place for the client to sign that they had the disclosure and that they were given the opportunity to use other lenders. It wasn't mandatory, but they didn't have a place to sign for the client. So they made an effort. This is an interesting one too. CFPB takes on Wells Fargo Bank and JP Morgan. And what is happening here is loan officers' illegal trade and referrals for cash and marketing services. This just happened, you can't quite see it, January 22nd, 2015, like a month ago, okay? And what they came in with, the federal court required $24 million in civil penalties, and Wells Fargo $600,000 from JP Morgan. So $24.6 million was a settlement for these two guys because they were trading referrals in cash without an MSA in place. So, do you set up a situation at all where you work with a favorite title company and you might give them referrals, they give you referrals, or your lender, you work with a particular lender, they give referrals, you give referrals, trading back and forth? Careful. Careful. Because if you don't do it right, you're going to be up here on the screen. You don't want to do that. Okay, referral fees. This is an interesting one also. American Home Shield Home Warranty. How many of you heard of this company? Mostly everybody has if they work with the home warranty. This is the largest company in the nation that does these. And they do a lot. They're big in Utah. A lot of agents use it. So what happened is that these guys would give a $52 referral fee for every time you gave them a name, it closed, they sent out a check for $52 back to you. So it was tagged as being kickbacks by the CFPB. CFPB came in with their big guns blazing again and said, hey guys, you know what? You are out of compliance. And not only are we going to sue you, but we're going to sue every other real estate agent in the country that has ever received one of these checks, which would be an awful lot of real estate agents. So American Home Warranty, Home Shield, they said, gosh, you know, that's really not fair. These real estate agents, they didn't do anything wrong. It's just our system. So give us a break here, will you? Let us pay an amount that would settle everything and leave all the real estate agents alone. And we'll set up your disclosures the way you want. CFPB came back and said, no, okay, we'll do that for you, but it's going to cost you $26 million.
Seriously?
That's what they pay to keep you guys out of trouble. So next time you see their agent, you might say, thank you. See, these guys, they mean business. They're tough. They don't play around. A local kind of thing. How many of you heard of a little company called Castle Cook Mortgage?
What did you say?
Castle Cook Mortgage?
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, they're here. They've got offices in Orem, Provo. Anybody know what happened to them a year ago last November? They didn't like the way the loan officers were being compensated. This change that we were talking about how much the loan officer could make, they were changing that a little bit. CFPB came in, audited them. Anybody see the fine that they had to pay?
Sure.
Did you see it?
I can. I didn't.
$13.2 million. They're a Utah company. They're still in business. I'm not sure how they did that. Must have an awful long payment schedule on that.
I think they were closed. Like,
No, they're still around.
No, they are.
Yeah, they're still around.
I think the many who were like co-owners, they switched to a different company, as I know.
No, I
That
know
might
the
be.
broker there.
They've got offices
Who is
in
the
other
broker
states,
there?
but their home office is up in Holiday, up in Salt Lake.
Is it like
So they're around.
still?
Flagstar, one of the largest services in the nation, they also generate a fair amount of originations. In 2011, they had 13,000 applications come in, and they only had 25 employees handling it. Well, there's a law in the books that says anytime an application is taken, there has to be a decision of some kind rendered back to the client within 30 days. The problem was, is they were taking up to 9 months to get some of these people an answer back. So CFPB came in, and this happened in September last year. CFPB came in and said, you know what? We're going to fine you $27.5 million because you were so slow getting those applications answered. And we're going to take that $27 million and mail it out. And I've had several people in classes say, yeah, I got one of those checks. They've been mailing out checks to clients that got declined as well as clients that got approved. But the CFPB didn't stop there. They said, oh, gosh, you know what, man? The budget's a little tight this month. Just like the cops that put out their speed traps all over when they get a little tight budget. No, they never do that. Anyway, they said, we've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on this, and so we want you to pay us an additional $10 million to come back to the CFPB for our time and concern. So $37.5 million they got fined because they were a little slow.
Are they not big enough to fight back? I mean, this is.
Well, the only one that has is Borders and Borders. Are you getting a little, you see what I'm saying? A little nervous? Pay a little more attention to things?
I think it's just
Okay.
a little bit.
So if you wanted to do one of those MSAs, here's what you have to have in your disclosure. We'll have to jump through this pretty quickly. An explanation of the nature of the relationship, so you describe what it is. You have to tell them of the charge or range of charges generally imposed by other companies, and a statement that they are not required to use you, but they can use somebody else, and they also have to have a place to sign.
Do we have that in our?
It's not in there, and the reason it's not is because these are general statements. If you want to use that, you need to get an attorney to draft it.
Oh, really?
Yes. Especially with the way the CFPB is going. That's Borders and Borders. So this is what you need to have in that disclosure statement. Now, there's a lot of MSAs around, particularly lenders and builders. How many times have you seen when a builder said, well, you know, if you bring your loan to me, we'll give you X thousands of dollars towards closing costs, or we'll give you upgrades on this, or we'll give you credit towards the kinds of
If you use a
improvements.
preferred lender, would that qualify under?
If they go for a particular lender, yes.
No, the builder's notes are, if you use the preferred lender, then you will get.
Yes, and if there's some kind of compensation attached, like closing costs, they better have one of these MSAs in place, and most of them do. Now, whether or not they're correct, CFPB hasn't been in and audited those. I'm sure they will someday. But yeah, if you're doing that kind of thing, or if you're saying, I want you to go to my title company or to my real estate agent, and you're not giving, the lender, you've got to give them the option then, and you've got to make it so that it's not mandatory to go to that title company or to that lender. Yeah.
Unless you are dealing with foreclosure and you have to go with the
Hey,
your title. and we
don't bring
see
up
it.
tough things.
No,
Government
no, it's
doesn't
real
have to
things.
follow
We're
the
always like-
guidelines. I know.
We want to fight back and say we don't want to use your title. People,
I know.
that you have to sign, and they are not happy with you, and they may not, if you accept your offer.
That's true.
So,
The short sale foreclosure market is a whole different ballgame. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But it definitely is outside the guidelines that we're talking about here today. Yes?
So does this apply to, like, for example, verbally, when they're asking you, when you say, hey, what title company would you like to use? And they say, oh, I don't know, who do you use? And I say, X title company.
No, that's okay because you gave them the choice first.
Okay.
Who do you want to use? Or you might say, I have a title company that I've had very good relationships and service from. They seem to be accurate. Here is a recommendation. Same way with lenders. I know a lot of real estate agents that will say, here's 3 cards, 3 lenders, pick the one you want. So be careful. There's a line there. Difference between suggesting, and maybe it's a good idea, and making it mandatory. Make that line broad. Don't go too close to it. And then you'll be able to be protected from this kind of thing. We already talked about that.